Okay, so chances are you're going to find yourself in a situation where you've just got an email or someone's walked into your office and they've asked you to set a meeting using Google Calendar there and then. You can do it really, really quickly without having to actually navigate directly to the calendar. I've got a tab open on here, as you can see. If I go Control T to open a new tab and type in cal.new, it will take me directly to a new event for my Google Calendar. I can then add in all the details that I normally would from an event title. You can just call it meeting. You can add your guests, decide if it's going to be using Google Meet or whether it's going to be an in-person, set your notifications, whatever you want to do, okay? And it's as simple as that. And even if you haven't got Calendar open anywhere else, this will set it up really quick and simple. Hi guys, I'm Andy, aka Googleman, and thanks for coming back to the channel. It's really good to see you all again. Before I jump into the topic of today's video, I just want to give you a quick update. The Googleman website has a new, easy to remember address. It is www.akagoogleman.com. So if you've been wanting to check out that website, please do so now. And if you go to akagoogleman.com/sign up, you will be able to sign up for some email updates from me as well. Both of those links are down in the description below, so please check those out. In today's video, as you can kind of tell, we are talking about Google Calendar, and I'm going to be walking you through a few things that help Calendar keep you productive. Getting your calendar right is really, really important because it doesn't just impact you and your organization and productivity, but if you set it up correctly, it can also improve other people's as well. So I'm going to show you some of the things that I would recommend that you do depending perhaps on your position. If that sounds interesting, let's jump in. Okay, so now depending on your position within your organization, whether you are senior leadership in a school, whether you're the CEO of a company, it's really handy to be able to have an overview of your day. And quite often, if you're anything like me, calendar is not the first place that I go. When I get into work in the morning, the first place I actually go is to my emails. So it's really, really handy to be able to have a daily agenda just sent to you every morning automatically. So that's what this next tip is going to be for. So here we are in my obviously fairly blank Google Calendar as a template. I'm going to go to settings, cog up the top, and then go to the main settings menu. Okay. This takes me to a main section. What I actually want to do is do the notifications for this particular calendar. So I scroll down to settings for my calendars, and I'm going to click on the aka Googleman calendar, and then still on this left hand side here I'm going to click on other notifications. As you can see, there are a few switched on, so any new events that change, I get email notifications for all of those. And then down the bottom of this list I have daily agenda. So if I turn that on to email, at about 5 a.m. an email goes to my inbox telling me a rundown of my day. Now obviously in my kind of like teaching role, this is really handy. I've got timetable applications and things from my school, but kind of seeing that list can be really, really handy as like a jog, a memory jog first thing in the morning. And if you've got lots of different meetings, if your position requires you to be in different meetings on different days, this is really, really handy because you'll get that as an overview first thing in the morning as soon as you open your emails. Okay, so what about if you work across different time zones in the world? Obviously, being a teacher, this doesn't really affect me that much, but if you're in some kind of company that has offices in different countries around the world, you need to know that kind of meetings that you're scheduling don't kind of like conflict with off times and night times, even if it's that far over the world. So what you can do here is you can set up a secondary time zone on your Google Calendar. You can even label it. On mine here, you can see I've got my UK timestamp over there, and this is all the times that relate to me and my time zone. But if I go back to settings, which is what I did earlier on, and then go to the main settings menu, I'm going to stay in that main area this time, and it's just the second thing down here. I have the time zone area, and as you can see, I can display secondary time zone. I can then search for any time zone that I want. So let's just say I'm going to go with Alaska time. why not? And I can even give it a label. So if you've got the name of a particular office or a name of a particular colleague that perhaps even temporarily is working overseas, you could just give it the initials of that person perhaps, so you know when that person is in terms of time in the country that they are in. Okay, if I now go back to my main calendar, so it's saving those settings there, and as you can see, just to the left of my days of the week, it will reappear in a second. You'll have the AWS time zone, and you also have the UK time zone next to each other, and then you can see, so I know that 2 p.m. it's 5 a.m. Over there. That's not going to be any good to hold a meeting. It needs to be something a bit later in the day, so 6 p.m. for a 9 a.m. meeting is probably going to be all right, so I can book that meeting in for there. That time zone, wherever country you're working in and other people are working in, could come in real handy. Okay, so allowing somebody else to access and edit your calendar, if you're in a senior position and perhaps you have a PA or something like that, this is something you will really, really want to do, because you might not have time to put in every single individual meeting. You might have someone arranging those for you. It's a really easy setup. So I'm going to go back to my settings menu. And once I get into there, I'm going to go to my calendar settings for the akagoogleman calendar for this particular one. So I'm going to go akagoogleman. It brings up my next kind of like options here, and I can go to share with specific people. And now what I can do here is I'm just going to add the real world edition of me, and what I can do with this is I can set different permissions. So I can allow this person to just see constantly what I'm doing and when I'm doing it, and they can see all of the details. I could just want them to see when I'm busy, or I can ask them to make changes to events and change to share permissions and things like that. So you would probably set like your PA to have full permissions to do anything to your calendar, and they can make meetings for you, and it will show up in your calendar and they will act on your behalf. You then just need to click send, and they'll just get an email saying that they've been added to your calendar and they can make changes to it. It's such a quick thing to do, but could really make a massive difference. And the last one here is something that makes it absolutely vital that you should keep your calendar as set up and up to date as possible. I've done other videos on Google Calendar, and I will link those. Some will be above, and everything will be down in the description as well. Okay. But if you want to set up a meeting, or someone wants to set a meeting with you, okay, you want them to be able to see your calendar so they can actually see whether you're busy, because otherwise you'll have an email chain going back and forth saying, can you make this time? You'll say, no, I can't make that time, I'm doing this. And it was back and forth and back and forth. So actually the best thing to do is for one person to take responsibility for making that meeting possible by looking at the other person's calendar. So as well as getting everything in place so it can all be seen, okay? What you need to do in here is I'm in the settings menu for my calendar. Okay, I've gone to the cog, I've gone to settings, and I've selected the akagoogleman calendar. Okay, and then I've gone to access permissions. Now the level here is kind of like it's a mini version, a slightly sort of mini version of when you chose someone to be able to edit your calendar, but this is just kind of a view to access your to calendar rather than edit things. So in here, I've got checkboxes for the trust for whom I work in my school. Okay, and I've also got make available to public. Now, depending on what you want to do here, if you just want to make it within your organization, just check that box. If you want to make it public, it's fine. And you can have different levels for this as well. So it might be that within my organization, I want them to be able to see all the event details, so they will be able to see perhaps who I'm teaching, who I'm meeting, and where that is taking place. Okay, that's okay within the organization. If I then check the make available to public, I come up with a little box, I'll say yes, that's fine. This now will appear on Google searches, but in the public view, you'll see they will see only when I'm free and when I'm busy. They won't get any other details like that. So if you're doing a meeting with someone from another business or another school, they'll be able to see when you're free and when you're not free, but not what the details are, because there might be some sensitive information in there, particularly in kind of a school like I work in. Okay, that you want to keep that stuff completely hidden. All right, and to that end, if I go back, I can then search for somebody else's calendar. Okay, and I can find out if they're going to be free and set a meeting accordingly. So if I'm just going to search for real world school me. And what I can do there is, now that I've searched that, my entire school timetable has appeared there. Now, what you can't see, as you can see on there, is what those events are. You can see when they are, and you can see that I'm busy, but you can't actually see what the details are. And some of those things are school related, some of them are personal things, but you won't be able to tell. So I can see on here that there's a gap here on, say, a Friday afternoon where I would meet me or whoever, this version of me, and I could set that meeting, and chances are they're going to be free and they will RSVP yes. Okay, at which point you don't have to do anything. It's worthwhile remembering that you could set up a filter for this, so if they're going to say yes, you don't really need to know. Check out my video on Gmail for productivity, which I'll link above and below for you, but I wouldn't need to see if they're coming or not. But if they couldn't come, I could then have another look at this same calendar and find a better spot. Okay guys, and that's it for today. I hope you found that really useful. If you did and you liked what you saw, please give me a thumbs up, and remember to click subscribe as well to see any of my other videos that I've uploaded as well. I'm looking forward to seeing you all next time. Until then, stay well, stay safe. Googleman out.